Okay, there we go. Hi. You'd think I'd know how to do this given I've done it so often, but I don't. So, hi. Uh, this is another 12 frames per second.
Yeah, that's what it's
Where,
actually called.
huh?
It's been so long. I forgot
I
they were
know
called 12.
it's 24. It's
Yeah,
animating on 24, but you animate on twos, so because it's between two
yeah.
people. Yeah,
Yep,
that's
yep.
the joke. Yeah. Um, Hi, I'm Hex. We're doing a long-awaited FPS for the two of us because we've been wanting to get these two together for a while, and
Mhm.
seems while they're both in recovery is a good way to do it. I'm playing Vava today. Yeah.
Would you like to catch up the anybody who hasn't been following Baba on what the
Yeah,
fuck happened?
on what the fuck happened with Vava. Yeah. So,
It's also
long
catch up for
story
me.
short, yeah, long story short, there was a mini campaign called Talent Stole where Vava went missing. Um and it was revealed through some honestly blind luck and because well we had the luck warlock with us. But basically, there was a vampire ring active in the city of Everstead that was running both a blood and a talent ring, um, because they had found a way to not steal but siphon the talent of tunes and sell it as bottled talent, which was a temporary in some cases it was a complete class change, in others you got a feat. Um Mechanically that's what it was, but it's things like uh dancing or sharpshooting. I think lockpicking was another one. I've got it all laid out. But basically all of these tunes had various skills and they were being siphoned off and sold. Um and there was a big old raid. It hit all of the news presses in that area because holy shit, there were 35 people rescued from that raid. Um, and among them was Vava, who was taken for her dancing and acting talents. And all of the vampire ring was busted. The main guy in charge was super murked, as you know he should have been. And all of those tunes and people were immediately taken to the hospital there, which was immediately overwhelmed because it was a small town. But once everything was sorted out, they were then, moved off into other places, recovery wards, things like that. Um, which is where we now catch up with Vava, who is still very exhausted, but she's gotten a lot of like the best way that they could describe it was ink loss, even though it technically wasn't. But it seems like, an infusion of ink did help is helping to help her recover. She still looks very rough, but she is in the recovery stages now. So
Uh, oh man. Actually, I haven't yet gotten to listen to the game, so like I need to put that on my list of things. This after the podcast that I'm currently listening to, which
yeah.
I'm reminded remind me after this, I gotta send you a podcast.
Mm.
Um
Oh boy.
I cannot say the name of it out here
That's
on
fair.
live, but
That's fair.
uh it listening to the actual summary of this reminds me of like, man, surprisingly similar plot throughs to what happened in the oh my god, I
Case of
forgot
the
the name.
Missing
Yeah,
Television.
Kids of Missing
Yeah.
Television.
Yeah,
Uh
actually, which is hilarious because I've had this game planned like before I joined the Draft House server. This was a campaign I tried to run off server, but it unfortunately died. So like the
I
fact that
see.
I finally got to run it and it ran like this is really
That
good.
that is very fun. Kids of Missing Television was came up I think like a little bit after Triny and Victrola were made, just as
Hmm.
a way of making a plot line for their characters, and it was just kind of like
Yeah.
back ended with a lot of things that occurred. It was a lot of fun. To give a summary, very tiny summary, um, of Kids of the Television. Uh, Trinity got kidnapped,
Yeah.
as well, by a different person named Murloc, um,
Mhm.
uh, who basically for the past almost 6-ish years, yeah, about 6 years, had been basically uh, running a toon trade ring specifically for object heads by turning the object head tunes into the actual appliances that they were. So Triny would be a television, Victrola would have been a radio, there was washing machines, and they were being sold to villains on top of a cruise off of shores of Ainquel. Um,
Yep.
Due to the fact that it was a limited amount of tunes with a lot of high price, there was profit there, but they needed a constant source. And so Triny followed his parents' footsteps, found himself kidnapped. A set of 4 people followed, specifically Daffodil. Oh my god, I'm forgetting some of these people's names. TOC, Camille, and what was Babble's character?
Juniper.
Juniper, thank you. Um, Juniper all followed Triny's trail, which led them all the way to the island where Merlot was, rescued Triny, and Triny forgot all his entire fucking memories. Luckily,
Yep.
due to his short-term memory, SFM, uh, he is able to recover them by rewatching the tapes that he's made throughout his life. So that's what he's doing now, recovering in the hospital, getting his memories back.
Yeah. And as it would happen, well, as luck would have it, this it would so seem that Triny's room is no longer just for him, because he is gaining a person, a roommate.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
This is probably his doctor coming into. There was probably a point at which his doctor told him, like, since you've gotten enough memories back now, we do need room for some more people who are recovering, so we're gonna give you a roommate.
Yeah, we've had an emergency
Yeah.
like situation has come up. There were only, it was, I say only, it's still a lot. There were 15 tunes that were rescued.
Oh, that's still a fucking lot.
That's a lot. It was
Uh,
20 real kind and 15 tunes.
I will say a lot of the tunes that were part of the object head ring
Hmm.
haven't been rescued yet because they were sold out a long time ago. So
Yeah.
there are traces that are being followed, investigations going on to try to get those people back. But a lot of
Yeah.
people were returned to the original states, including Chinese parents, which I should have
Yeah.
mentioned.
And some of the tunes here, they've been missing for a while because Michael Keyes, the runner of this ring, has been doing this for decades. So some of these tunes are very bad off, but they are all rescued. Every single one of them got rescued is the important part. Like the whole ring got busted.
That's real good.
Yeah.
Currently, so far, I think I can safely say those object heads will be returned. They just have, yeah.
Yeah. It takes time.
Yeah, it takes
And
time.
yeah, which understandable. This again, we had some extraneous circumstances in the Warlock of Luck of the
Mhm.
Wishing Star, here to help drag that plot around. But Triny is given the heads up of, we've had, a bit of an emergency kind of situation come up. And so we need to give you're gonna get a roommate because we need just some recovery space, basically. It'll only be for it should only be for about a week or two, but they still need that time to recover.
Triny's entire response would have been just like, I mean, that's perfect with school back on and my parents having to take care of a bunch of crap. I need somebody to talk to here. Honestly, I am going insane, Doc.
Well, I understandable. Uh, they'll likely be very tired, but as long as you allow them to rest when they need to rest, that'll be fine.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. Which is how he probably is woken up. I don't know. It depends on how late Triny sleeps in the mornings.
Um, Currently with this 5 points of exhaustion that he still has.
Yeah.
Very late.
Yeah. That's fair. So he's I mean, if you want to have his if what is his what would his passive perception be right now with
Passive
that much
perception.
exhaustion?
Well,
Yeah,
that's I think with with exhaustion, you get a -5 to your skill checks
I believe that's
at some
correct.
point. So
If it's technically it's disadvantage with exhaustion. It's disadvantage on all skill checks.
okay.
Uh
Mm, well, that's basically accounts for a -5. So I'm gonna give it.
yeah,
It's his
that's
passive perception is an 8. He ain't got
mhm,
one. It's
gotcha.
8.
Okay. It's 8? Oh my god. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
currently.
Yeah, so yeah, he doesn't he would not be woken up by a it would she would come in on a wheelchair, I believe. And get moved into the bed, get all situated and everything. It's a minor bit of hustle and bustle, but they're moving quickly and quietly to get her in, get her situated, let her rest. So really what happens is Triny wakes up and there's a new person here.
Oh, he rubs his eyes. Uh, I will add there is
Hmm.
I would believe there would be a different TV in his room, just for
Hmm.
him to actually watch things. And it's
Yeah.
another VHS TV. Uh,
Okay.
that would have been just brought in from his house to
Hmm.
allow him to just watch like normal shit.
Yeah. When he's
Uh,
not playing back his
yeah,
memories, he can actually watch TV. Yeah.
yeah, which is fun. Um, I did have a joke with Moss at one point where at one point during his memories trials, he remembered the first, third, and fourth book in a series, but not the second, and it's a
Oh
wild
no.
experience.
Oh no. Oh no. I know we go from here to here, but how did we get here?
But that's beside the point. Uh,
Incredible.
Triny, so Triny wakes up and there's just a new person here.
There's a new person in here. It is a she looks almost UPAN, but the way that like it's one of those I'm assuming it's like an inherent thing of tunes where they can just kind of like tell how grounded in reality a tune is. Uh if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, I mean it's just like if you're roughed up, you're roughed up.
yeah, she looks UPAN, but the way that she kind of like the haggard look and the way that her line she doesn't have line she's lineless, huh?
Yeah,
um
I
the
would
way
think.
that her color oh go ahead.
If I may be so bold, um, what if like her shapes move like very sluggishly?
uh well, I was actually about to mention so she looks lineless, but the way that her edges are frayed and kind of like shift and sketch, it's actually Frankenalley.
Hmm.
She just looks kind of UPAN, but no, that fray the way that she's fraying and kind of the haggard like exhausted like weight of how she's in this bed. Yeah, she's Frankenalley and she looks rough. Uh Probably not as rough as you, Triny, because you're at 5 points and she's still at 3. And she's only at 3. But
Understandable. I mean,
yeah,
it's exhaustion at the end of the day. It's still exhaustion.
it really
Yeah.
is. But she's awake. She probably does have the TV on, I'll be honest.
What is playing in it?
At the moment, it is likely a uh uh the cooking network, the grub network.
Oh, you know, I'm pretty sure Tiny sucks at cooking, so this is so wild to watch.
Yeah.
Because his first thought is like, how do they not burn it?
As someone who had to learn, Vava understands.
But okay, so Trini wakes up and there's just somebody in the room playing the
Yep,
cooking network. Oh man, I feel so rusty.
it is. You are so okay.
Yeah. Um I think he would just uh first press the call nurse button,
Mm-hmm.
just to get her and the coming in as soon as possible. But uh, would say hi, just like hi.
Oh, hello, darling. I hope I didn't wake you with with the television.
No, no, it's all right. Believe me. And he just knocks on his head twice. It's a little hard for television to wake a TV. Um, I was told I'd be getting a roommate for a bit. The name's Triny.
Ah, nice to meet you. Vava von Vixen.
I will roll a history check at disadvantage.
Yeah, it's gonna be a disadvantage. I'm sorry.
Not just because he's struggling, but also, well, he rolled a 6. So,
Aw, yeah,
yeah.
no.
No one was a 17. I'm so mad. I'm
Aw,
so angry.
boo.
Fine. Fine.
But she responds, "Oh, it's Vava von Vixen, darling. Nice to meet. Well, I would say it's nice to meet you, but and she kind of just like makes a gesture at their surroundings, like,
Yeah. Um, I wish we could meet under better circumstances.
that's unfortunately, c'est la vie. And
And if we're giving full names, it's uh uh Ton, Triny Ton. And
Tom.
he like he reassures himself for a second, and you see in his on his TV, like there's a playing of like there's played he's playing back a memory of uh Vic, a little
Yeah.
redhead child, saying your name is Triny, Triny Ton. And just like, okay, yes.
Aw. Vava, her head kind of tilts to one side. She goes, Ton.
Yeah. What do you need?
Uh, no, that I used to work with. I used to work with a Ton. I and she's kind of she thinks for a moment because again, exhaustion.
Mhm.
Ah, cameraman, very nice fellow. At Volpine Studios. Oh drat. Uh, Filmoton.
And it is at that point that Trini begins playing back a couple of memories of just very early childhood. Um,
Hmm.
like, and you can see clearly on the screen it is Filmo, but he's like picking up the kid, um, uh, picking up the kid, taking him out for a picnic specifically with the rest of the family. You see the same kid from beforehand, but it's she's now much younger. So this must have
Hmm.
been an even earlier memory. Um, it's just like I know, I know. Filmo's my grandfather. That Filmo?
Yes, really. Oh wow. Uh, God, I'm sorry. My voice
Boy's a shot. We get it. It's all good.
is what happens when you're on testosterone, baby.
Oh, it's all good. Get that tea.
I am getting that tea.
Get that boy.
And she like I'd say she tries to sit up. She doesn't get very far, but she does shift. Oh yes, you're his grandson. That's oh wow. I would say small world, but I'm well. I now
You'll
I'm doubly glad to meet you.
you'll have to forgive me. You he said I know he worked as a cameraman, but who are you specifically? I have
I was
I have a lot of memory issues right now, so
no, you're quite fine, darling. It's quite fine. Uh, she doesn't even seem like he didn't react initially to like the name. So it's she seems kind of used to like people not recognizing. Partially because Marcel is her son and he didn't know, and he frequently forgets that she's famous. Uh, she kind of sits she pushes the button to have the bed lift her up a bit more. And she says, I worked with your father. Well, we worked in the same for the same studio, or your
Right.
grandfather,
Yeah. Yeah.
for the same studio, Vulpine Studios. I was an actress there.
And then at this point, I think he actually also raises his bet a little bit just to get a better
Mhm.
look at Zemo and pick a movie name that Vava has been in.
Ooh, let's see here. The So the funny one that I've been rolling with is uh it's a spin on $1 million legs.
Never
Uh
seen it.
huh?
I've,
It is an old movie from the 50s that Betty Grable starred in, and Betty Grable is a very you would know the picture of her if you saw it. Um but Betty Grable is one of the actresses that Vava is actually based off of. Um and so the movie that she starred in that kind of I guess was her like breakout, her breakout debut film at the time would have been something along the lines of Million Platinum Legs.
that's a lot of money. Uh,
That's a lot of money.
that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think like whatever the most is it a comedy? Is it a romance? Is it a
It is
adventure?
a it is a I have to remember this. Uh and I have to remember. Oh, I'm incorrect. It was actually 1932. My bad. Anyway, um it is a comedy movie.
I see. So
Yeah.
like one of the jokes, I'm guessing Baba says some jokes at one point. But
Oh
there's
yeah.
like like Triny and Ton actually plays back an extended scene of um what seems to be his perspective of watching the movie from the TV in the hospital room. So
Okay.
he rewatched the movie, but now you can see a scene with you in it.
Yeah. And it is a definitely like this is when she was like 22.
Mhm.
So this is decades ago and she kind of laughs a little bit like, "Yep, that is in fact me. Yes."
That's you. Oh, that I'm ooh, okay.
Mhm.
He gets a little flustered.
Darling, no, it's quite all right. I I assure you I am there's no need it's no you there's no need to there's no need to wording.
Be flustered.
Be flustered, be so nervous. There we
There
go.
you
That's
go.
what I was.
I thought you were gonna say it in her voice. My bad.
No, I like there's no need to be so flustered. It's
Uh,
quite all be so nervous. It's quite all right.
I, I just, um, my family keeps telling me that apparently I was a big fan. So I've been rewatching some of your films. And you see that like, there, I don't. Actually, you probably would have noticed. There's a small stack of like VHSs, which I'm guessing you wouldn't know what a VHS is, huh? This is a
Vava probably would not know.
no.
She's
Um,
more familiar with like the film reels and a film.
that's because in the way that I've been thinking about it is that Filmo actually created VHSs for
Yeah, yeah.
Tiny, so that way he could actually live his life normally. Um,
Hmm.
and so you see he like doesn't drag over the TV, but instead like reaches downwards for a cable and like the cart that it's on gets pulled along. And
Hmm.
he grabs one of the VHSs from the TV and uh, passes it over to you, even though if it's a little bit of distance.
Yeah. And
Uh,
she takes it.
and you can see on there it's Million Platinum Legs.
Yep.
It's written on it. uh, my my granddad made a lot of these. Well, whenever he would make them in film normally, and then he would transfer once I got a little older. He transferred them over to VHS so that way I could watch them on my screen and replay them back if I wanted to. Um, so I have a lot of your filmography actually. Now that I think about it, um,
Vava is turning this over in her hands, kind of looking at it, in a little bit of a mystified manner, like, you mean this is the whole, like,
oh, not
this is
not
my whole film
yes, that's the whole movie. I have other ones
on
right
this
here.
little thing, on this little thing.
Yeah,
That is something. I've never seen anything quite like it. I knew your grandfather was I knew he was a genius man. This is incredible.
uh, everybody or my parents tell me that he was a bit of a tinkerer. Um, so he made this. There was a whole big they are, and like you see he's trying to like congregate a bunch of information, like multiple scenes flashes through
Hmm.
his screen, like he's trying to like get his thoughts in order very quickly. And
Yeah,
there would be so much to explain between the here and now that he's just trying to figure out a way to shorten it all down. And I think he finally comes up with just a uh, these things are custom made for me. They cost a pretty penny to produce, but they they let me have a normal life apparently. So
that's Vava is again, it's just that is absolutely incredible though. That is she seems kind of at a loss for words because it's like she wants to say like the thing she wants to say is uh that is such like that's such like an incredible act of love basically, but also that might be a bit too heavy for the mood they're going with.
understandable, but also true.
Yes, like
Yeah. Which
I
is
think what
horror.
she ends up oh, I was to say I think she ends up settling on he must have really cared about you to create basically an entire new type of film for you.
Opens his mouth, closes it. Open his mouth, closes it. I didn't really think about it that way, but yeah, you're right. Huh.
And she'll pass the VHS back.
Either way, oof, I've you know, Grandpa was always secretive about what he did at Volpine Studio, so it's actually kind of amazing that you're here. What was I? I got to meet him a little bit. Um, my parents always said that he didn't like missing work with family. Um, so I only got tidbits of what occurred over there and the films. I obviously got the films.
Yeah. Uh Vava, she kind of like she waves a hand like it Volpine Studios is not I would not recommend anybody work there nowadays. Uh there's well, maybe it'll change now that they've had some well, have you heard one of their studios burned down?
No, I hadn't. But if I have, I don't remember it.
Right. I am I am
No, it's all
terribly
good.
sorry.
You see, he is actually quite laughing. Like he finds it extremely funny. Uh,
I if she could turn like if you could you see like pink just kind of like dusting her face just my sincerest apologies that was
no,
I
It's genuinely, it's fine. Um, the circumstances that have led me to where I am right now are um weird at best, and have a
I
lot to do with with Filmo actually.
I well, to but to answer your question, she's just gonna not address that bit, because that would probably be rude. But to answer your other question, Vulpine Studios is it's it is certainly a place to work, but and they have created good films and they have done good for people, but they they were not very good to uh well, me and many others, and uh your grandfather saw a lot of that, and I think he was part of the reason the place was still bearable, honestly.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to dredge up bad memories.
Oh, no, it's quite all right, darling. It's something I have to be honest with. It's Vulpine Studios was not a good place to work for me. They were very demanding of their actors and often to the detriment. They had tried to. This is me trying to remember the actual history of a certain other studio. They were trying to expand too rapidly into Technicolor, and it put a big strain on the studio. And so their solution was instead of something reasonable, it was to pump out as many movies as they could as fast as possible.
I see.
And well, you can only have so many. You can only do so much in a day, but they didn't seem to care. But it's and she just kind of shrugs a shoulder like that is in the past. And well, like I said, their studio has burned to the ground. Unfortunate though it is. But maybe they'll rebrand or come back from it and rebrand and be better off. And there's a bit of smugness in the way she is not sad that this place burned to the ground.
From the way,
Never mind that she was there, but don't worry about that.
we don't need to worry about that. It's fine. We're not gonna. Are there cameras in here? No, this is a hospital room. There are not cameras in here. I don't think. Actually, I don't know. Are there
Um,
cameras in hospital rooms?
I think in I think with the era that we've kind of that like everything is kind of established of like this for nebulous 30s to 50s era.
Yeah.
uh I would argue like probably not.
Fantastic. Good. So no need to I would say if there were cameras, no need to reveal that you committed arson. Uh,
Yeah.
um, I think at this point, one of the nurses arrived, the one that he called earlier. Um, probably they're. I'm guessing they're pretty busy with the influx of patients.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and at that point, Triny just says like, oh, uh, Miss Nurse Bottom. I don't fucking. I had to come up with a nurse name. Fuck, fuck.
Whoops.
I love NPCs. Anyways, Miss Nurse Bottom. I just woke up. Is it all right if I just have some water and breakfast whenever you can? Um, and then Triny pauses, thinks for a second, and also, whenever you have a chance, this would take a while. Can you bring? And she whispers to the nurse to come a little closer,
hmm
and she whispers something to her. If you want to listen in, you can. Um,
Uh, that's a disadvantage roll for Vava too. So,
yeah, you'll know.
uh, you know,
Man, I love our
it's
I love our rolls today.
yeah, like with like her passive is the same as Triny's. It would be an 8 right now. But let me do because they're stuck in a hospital together. She could that well fuck. Well, goodbye, dice. Let's try the other one then. I guess I'm not using that dice.
Gone to the ether.
It did. It went just fucked off to EBDB. Cool. And cool. That's a 12.
Um, I just saw the message peanut gallery. Um, uh, you know what? I mean, Triny's not very secretive about this, but like,
Hmm.
you get my uh just you hear film history.
Hmm.
You get those words.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But apart from that, the nurse nods and then heads out to go get some food and breakfast and all that stuff. For if you
Yep.
want anything, you can obviously ask her.
Yeah. I imagine Vava probably ate already and
Yes.
is not keen to eat again yet. But she'll probably ask for some water as well, thinking about it. So
Yeah. Whew. Where do we leave off? Volpi Studios is not a good place.
hmm.
Yeah. Well, from the way you're talking about them, it definitely sounds like it's better that they might have to rebrand and rebuild and whatever it is they're doing.
Yes, it's let's just say they had some questionable business practices and we thought they were done doing that. So
Oh,
there's an issue with they used to and I think this hmm I don't think it would have like broken the news, but it's something of like it's shocking but also like oh uh they used to employ arcane contracts for all of their talent, which basically it's supposed to just being, a normal ass legal contract. It's also a magical contract.
so you're bound to do it even if you can't.
Mhm.
Yeah. Magic will make your corpse stands if it's written in there.
Yeah, basically.
Uh, that uh, that sounds horrible. I have a
It
I have a basic understanding of magic. Elders points at Elder's Knight. Um, yeah, that's not good.
No, it was not. And
Did my
I
grandfather sign
think
one of those?
uh I don't honestly know if Filmo did or not. I know I had to, but I was young and did not know better at the time. And then when it came time to negotiate a new contract, I was obviously smarter and wiser, uh, and did not agree to an arcane one. But it's something that if I believe it was something that if they thought they could get away with it, they did. They tried.
That actually, I will leave this up to you whether
Mhm.
Filmo or not had to sign an arcane contract. More than likely, his death wouldn't
It would have
wouldn't
nullified
yeah,
it,
it would have
but
nullified it. So
and even if it didn't, those bitches burned. But
mm-hmm.
I would imagine he probably would have, being an actual cameraman. Like, at the very least, like the confidentiality contract he signed would have probably been an arcane one.
But with those burned, some could say that
Hmm.
those reels could actually be watched now.
Hmm.
Ha!
Just some fun behind the scenes things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some fun behind the scenes things. Um. Oh man. Trying to take some bit to intake all that.
Hmm.
Um. Huh. That's a lot. Like he's at a loss for words, and he just says, "Yeah, that's a lot. I'm gonna need to internalize all this."
My therapist tells me it's not great to internalize things.
Well, I'll internalize it, and then I'll talk about it later.
That's fair.
Believe me, I have to go. I have to go through therapy sessions that I went through when I was 5 again.
And she's about to like again she's about to ask, and then she like there's the right expression on her face. Right, memory problems. Vava just kind of chuckles.
Speaking of which, sorry if I'm pulled away and it wakes you up or whatever. Sometimes I have to do these like daily memory sessions where I just basically watch my memories back at twice the speed. Um, it's weird. It takes a bit to take stick, but it works.
I'm glad it works. That is losing your memories must be a it must be a harrowing experience.
It's hmm. Honestly, I hadn't even thought about how it actually has affected him up until this very moment. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when oh, go ahead.
No, I was holding back a sneeze.
Oh, I
Sorry.
see. uh, I woke up at a shore, uh, and near the northern part of Einquell, and did not recognize my own sibling for a little bit. That took a bit. It does suck. You know what? It does suck, actually. Fuck that Merlin.
I don't know that. I don't know who that is, but if he's the cause of your amnesia, then yes, fuck him.
I mean, he's the cause of a bunch of twos going missing, apparently. Fuck
She
that guy.
quirks an eyebrow.
Um, how do I explain this? Uh, he's been kidnapping object heads, or he was. He was. He's dead now. Um,
Oh.
I was following his trail. I was a private investigator, apparently. That's what they tell me. And I was on
Mhm.
his trail, and I got caught. Same way my parents did, apparently. Um, so then my sister followed the trail alongside four other people, which I don't feel very nice about, but at least she's safe and didn't get caught. So,
That is a good thing, and
yeah.
well, I am glad that you all got out. And well, at least I can say we have that in common. I was equally I equally was kidnapped. So
Wait, really?
what a coincidence, isn't it?
And all we
There
got
were
was this lousy hospital visit?
I know,
All
right?
right, roll credits. It's
Yeah,
over.
roll credits. We
Goodbye.
did it. We did it. Title drop. Bye, everybody.
Ah,
I was doing a charity event in Everstead, and well, it turns out, there were vampires running a blood ring and, something else. Vava doesn't actually know what the other thing was, but she's just something else, but they
wait,
were running a blood ring.
wait. Quick question.
Yes.
What's a vampire before you before you continue the story?
Oh, they are creatures that feed off of blood or ink, depending on if they are toon or not.
Wow,
Um, or both. I don't know this. I don't know the details on that. They feed off of they drink your blood or your ink, and they only go out at night. The sunlight hurts them.
I see. I hadn't gotten that back yet, so thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Continue.
Uh, Yes, but they were running a blood ring selling, blood and ink from Toons, and real kind. And well, and she just kind of like gestures at herself like,
I
I got
see.
got.
I got turned into a TV.
She makes a pointed look at your head.
I got turned into like that and point to the actual TV.
She looks from your head to the TV. There's a moment, and then you see the little like you hear the ding, and she goes, "Oh heavens."
Yeah. The other object heads had the same thing happen, but at least they retain their memories.
That that is good, and I mean, I guess she kind of like cringes a little bit, but it's like silver lining at least all you seem to have lost is your memories.
Yeah,
As much as
actually.
that does suck.
I mean, I can at least get them back. So honestly,
Yeah.
I I don't regret doing what I did, and I think I would do it again if it
It
means
seems yeah. It seems to me in doing what you did, you helped rescue the others, so I'm glad you don't regret it.
Yeah, well, I'm retired now.
I don't blame you at all. If I thought I was capable of not acting anymore after I left Volpine Studios, I probably would have, but well, some things are just some things are just in your ink.
You just do it for fun.
I outside of my children, I think that's the one thing in life that brings me the most joy.
I gotta figure out what I want to do now. Now that I think about it,
Hmm.
I don't really.
You'll never. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I only went into the private investigative business literally to track down my parents. So
Hmm.
hmm, I actually hadn't given a thought as to what I'm gonna do once I get out of this hospital. Thanks.
Well, it's never too late to figure out it's never too late to find a passion.
Hmm.
Seems you
Uh,
like movies a lot. That's also my bias talking, but maybe see where that takes you.
huh? Maybe. I want to ask
Yes.
in the movie. Give me a different movie that Vava was in.
Ah, shit.
As Triny's about to just like ask a question, literally just out of like random, is like he sees watch a movie and he's out of burning questions for the entirety of his life, and now that you're here, he wants to ask it.
Yeah. Uh, come here. Really quickly. Let me just do 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 do.
Actually, I have a pretty good question now. Did
Yes.
she ever? She did romance, right?
She did romance. A lot of what she did, a lot of her movies were like comedies or like musical comedies, or romances or rom-coms.
So I have a question. Did she ever have to kiss anyone?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Triny is going to ask this, and I need you to just give me any romance movie.
Okay. Uh, let's see here. So uh there would have been a movie, and I'm just gonna say it's How to Marry a Billionaire because screw you. How to Marry a Millionaire is already a movie. Anyway, uh, but that is again, it's another musical it's another rom-com. And there's basic like it's her and the I guess the titular billionaire, quote unquote, of but it's that one is basically a I don't know the actual plot of the actual movie.
No, it's
But
all
in
good.
this one it's rom-com style two women basically vying for the attentions of this man because he's rich as hell and the shenanigans they get into trying to, catch his attention.
Okay, so during How to Marry a Billionaire,
Yep.
was he a good kisser? Because he did not look like it.
Uh and you see the look of disdain on her face as probably like on screen and it's the quote unquote billionaire is like you're he's he's a wolf and he kind of looks like an attempt at a Fabio wolf, if that makes like Fabio, the romance covers.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah. So that's kind of what he's looking like, and the look on Vava's face says it all. And she she just he was abhorrent.
I knew it. You see, like he just fucking like arm up in the air, and then immediately like ow, 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 ow. And then
Yeah.
there's a memory replaying back of like him telling his parents, like he doesn't look like he kisses that good. And his parents are like, shut. Of course he does. He's an actor.
He's an actor. He kisses great. No, actually, darling. He oh, there is a reason that a lot in the early film prior to the breakthrough of, actually kissing. There is a reason, and then it made a brief resurgence. There is a reason uh many actors would cover the mouth of the recipient and kiss their hand. Uh and that is one of them.
I have had that burning for literally like 24
I am glad I could put you. I'm glad I could finally give you closure on that one.
and that's my last mystery solved. I'm retired. Goodbye. Uh, uh,
Baba actually does start coughing there. She
oh
takes a
no.
sip of water.
Oh god, sorry.
Oh, you're quite, you're quite all right, darling. It's quite all right. That was the levity is good. It's good to laugh again.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Uh, I had a thought.
Mhm.
You said my grandfather saw a lot of things, correct?
Yes, he did.
Well, he had the same thing I did. And you see, Triny plays back just like the conversation you guys just had.
Yeah, with the memory.
Well, yes, but also the ability to play back and store our memories.
Oh.
Um, a lot of his were in film, like actual real film.
Mm-hmm.
Very few of them got turned over to VHS during his experiments creating it. Um, so I did have those memories, so I haven't seen them. But I've never been able to actually see my grandfather's memories because it just kind of I didn't have a film camera. I still have them.
But you need a camera.
I just need a film camera.
Well, that seems to think a minute. And then she says, I do believe I might be able to get you. I do believe I might be able to get you one on loan.
And I think it's at that point that the nurse comes back and you see she's carrying a tray with a couple of VHSs, as well as a bunch of different pieces, like a bunch of film, just a but as much film as those little trays could carry.
That is a lot. That is so much. Vava
Yeah.
is doing her best to not stare.
Um. Again, uh, kind of narrowing down a person's entire life into physical film is a bit difficult. It
Hmm.
requires a lot of it. I'm guessing Volpine Studios helped pay for a lot of this.
That is, I can only assume so, yes.
Um, I don't really have a reason to keep them. I've never actually seen them. So if you could get a phone camera and you wanted to take a look,
I, wh- I, not that I'm not, I, are you sure?
my grandfather died while at Volpine Studios.
Vava nods. She does remember this.
He's the whole reason this whole thing got started, apparently, with the kidnapping. He didn't start it himself, but Merlot, well, apparently they were in love or whatever the hell they had. And uh, I'm going to say that Merlot did work at Volpine Studios as like an intern.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to roll to see if Vava would even recall. Filmo makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the first roll's a nat one, so no.
No. Um. No. Merlot was a wine head optic head or
Yes, I
wine
do
bottle
recall
optic
that
head. Yeah, the little
from
summary.
the yeah, the summary.
But he kept everything that he filmed. He didn't want to forget his memories. These were literally his memories.
Hmm.
Somewhere in there, I'm going to guess, is probably the day before he died. Which, I don't know where that is, and I'm sorry to say that out loud now that I think about it, but there's a lot in here.
Hmm.
I do remember seeing, and he does like there's a memory that goes on his screen again, where Filmo for the first time, for one of the only times that they ever did it, um, they took out like used his actual head as a film camera to show like uh, very like unedited scenes of certain movies of yours that you've been in,
Hmm.
um, which he was probably not supposed to do, but
Yeah, probably not supposed to, but if he could get
probably,
away with it,
probably before the
yeah.
arcane contacts were put up.
Yeah. Yeah. Um he it would have likely been like, gosh, this would have been, I'm gonna honestly say it was an introduction, like their first introduction then of like uh this is Miss Von Vixen's first it would have actually been she would have actually been introduced as, this is Victoria Von Vixen. And she's, here to she's going to be the she's our newest like bit of rising talent that she's showing a lot of promise. Probably the joking, make sure you get her good side, Filmo, kind of ribbing. And uh Vava sees that, and then she looks very, very fond.
It's a bit weird having watched the memory on my memory of somebody else's memory. Huh.
Yes, but in a way, you're never, I mean, in a very literal way, you're keeping their memory alive.
Yeah. He just grabs like a random film off of the table, um, and just looks at it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I am. Uh, and there's a bit of a there's a little bit of an idea that pops into Triny's head at that moment, but he does not alight, or he does not seem to share it.
Mm-hmm.
He just puts the phone back.
Yeah. And that's fine. Vava lets him, like, because this is obviously like a very kind of like personal thing. But she does eventually just say, if you are certain about giving me Filmo's, well, reels, I would happily take them. He was one of the few very good things from Vulpine Studios.
That's good to hear, actually. I don't have a lot of memories of him uh, before he invented the VHS, uh,
Mm.
but my parents spoke a lot about him.
He was, well, I only knew him during work, so my experiences might be colored a little bit, but he was very hardworking and very determined to make sure that we got the best treatment we could. And when uh how long ago did he pass?
That would have been like 20 years ago. Because
Okay,
Triny
so
is how fucking old again? Triny was 18 when his parents died, and it's been four
yeah.
years after that, so it would have been
So he's
22.
22. Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, it would have been
almost
so
like, let's put it at 17 years old. 17
okay,
years
so
ago.
okay. So that just basically it's when he died that I think that's when the studio started to go downhill.
Hmm. I hope some good comes out of this.
As do I. And I just had a really soft thought about that, and now I'm just like, oh no. I'll talk to you about that in DMs.
We could definitely talk about that in DMs.
It's a
Um,
very bittersweet, like, Vava thought of something that Filmo might have caught. Just, that's all.
uh, Sorry if you hear drilling in the background. By the way,
You're
apparently there's
fine.
some drilling happening for whatever reason.
That's,
Oh man, we got lost in the sauce. Huh? It's been an hour.
oh wow.
Um,
This is what happens when you get two characters together and you just go, man.
been a bit. It's been a bit. It feels good to shake off that rust.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how long does Vava uh, stay
At the
lost?
at the recovery place,
Yeah, the
or
recovery place.
uh given that mechanically exhaustion is cured after a night of sleep, she's probably there, like, for the narrative, she's probably there for about a week and a half ish. Like,
That works. I mean, there
you know,
exhaustion can mean many different things. Like if I was a DM and you suffered
yeah,
a fucking life threatening like condition that
exactly.
put you down for the count, I would say like, yeah, you're down for the count for about a week and a half. That you're just gonna have this amount of exhaustion levels up until the day
Yeah,
that you recover.
yeah, exactly. That's kind of so it's like she's recovering, and they're purposefully taking it slow to make sure everything's kosher because they don't quite understand what the fuck happened with her. Uh, so yeah, she's probably there for about a week and a half.
So was there anything else you wanted to talk about during this first meeting that they had?
Um, Outside of Triny getting to meet Vivi, because that will happen.
Yeah. That's what I was actually gonna get to a little bit with the
Oh,
fact of like if you're staying here for about a week and a half, Tiny does get visitors. I'm guessing Baba would get visitors too.
yes.
So it's just since they are in the same room, it's just like meeting the family a little bit.
Yeah. There will be at one point, her when one of someone comes in, It's one of her partners. It's Wind Chimes, and Vava, when she hears that it's him, she's just gonna say, play along. Don't tell him what happened. Because there is a collective agreement to not tell Wind Chimes that Vava got kidnapped. It's she
What?
suffered an accident while at this charity event because otherwise Win would have a fucking breakdown, and we are not gonna do that to the boy.
That feels me as a Jade as a player. Like Triny would play along because this is not his business. But me as a player, that feels so. Ooh, that feels.
This is like at the request of Win's player. So like,
I see.
yeah,
Understandable. Have a nice day.
yeah.
Triny will play along, and in fact, if it's a partner or something like that, I would guess that Triny is able enough to walk, and we just step outside of the thingy just to get some fresh air for a little
bit. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Vava doesn't want to boot Triny out of his room because technically she's the one invading his room while they're recovering. But
no. It's their room.
It's their room. It is their room. That is what it is. Vava doesn't see it like that, but yes.
You would meet Victrola.
Yeah.
Which is actually possibly not the first time you've seen her. Because there's the possibility you saw her after camp, because this all happened right after camp.
Vava honestly probably did see Victrola from camp, and Vivi probably absolutely, if they happen to see each other, would like stop and point at Victrola. It's like, I remember you.
Yes. Yes. Hi.
She's God.
Oh my
Vivi
God.
just having.
I just had the thought of VV Victrola FPS called VVV.
VVV. VVV. VVV.
So dumb. I love it.
But yeah, Vivi just like sees Victrola, points, and just goes, "You're from
camp." Yes. Hi.
Hi. She's just like, there is no talk about the trauma that happened. She is just like going off about like, do you remember that poor kid who kept getting like launched and who never seemed to have anything good happen to him?
Miles, I'll bring you back one day. Yeah, I did. Vic is very not disquieted about camp, but just like Vic has had a very troubled past like 2 months.
I hold her so tight, like,
so
because she came off of camp and went straight into television, and I'm just like, darling,
I did this.
You did this.
I did do this. It's fine because she's okay now. She's going to therapy.
Yes. And I will say that Vivi, despite being like 8 or 9, has a lot of wisdom. And she would be able to figure out, like, she would be able to kind of piece together, like, oh, you're quiet. Okay, I can be quiet. We can vibe.
Like,
she is very good about reading the situation and knowing how to appropriately respond to it.
I was gonna say like they Vic could read a book like out loud, maybe, and I feel like that would be a nice thing to do while at the hospital.
Yeah. Vivi might just like saddle up, ask her that, what are you reading, and
read it out
probably
loud.
point out, I can't read that. I can't read this. I'm blind.
I can read it to you.
Would you?
Yes.
Okay. And sit down, hunker down.
Fantastic.
She is like quietly vibrating. She has so much energy. but she can contain it.
I love Vivi so goddamn much. If I ever do bottom the site, you know I'm grabbing you back if you ever want.
Yeah, bring the child back.
Again, that was just like I just got fucking overwhelmed. But
No,
anyways,
you are
that's not to
so
discuss.
good.
That's not to
Yeah,
discuss
yeah,
that.
yeah,
This
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
Brain. But yeah, just the thought of like over the course, uh, obviously watching back some of Bob's films if Baba would be
Mhm,
okay with
mhm.
that. Um, with
Vava's honestly totally fine with that. Yeah.
fantastic because you're getting Triny would love director's commentary.
Oh, she will happily provide it. Uh,
Uh,
there's like a couple of them where she's just like, this guy did this. You would not believe this scandal that happened. You would, just like the bullshit. And then there's others where it's like, okay, you see that right there? That's where I broke. You see that right there, right there? I broke my ankle right there, and we kept going. Like things like
broke
that. Like,
your ankle, and they didn't
yes.
stop shooting.
No,
I
surprisingly.
was still in Victrola voice, wasn't it? I fucking holy shit.
Oh,
Uh,
valid.
you know what? Victrola heard that one.
Victrola heard that one, and Vava just kind of like, she smiles, and she's just, I did, and we kept filming. I probably could have stopped. I should have stopped. But then I knew that meant doing the whole damn scene over again, and we'd already done 17 takes, and I was so tired. So I just kept going.
Lord Almighty.
It's one of those, you're done with something when just keeping going on on a bad ankle is worth it over just having to do the damn thing again.
Um. But yeah, so just the thought of like over the course of the week, visitations. You also get to meet Triny's parents, uh,
Yeah.
who come in and are obviously like big fans. Um, his father is even bigger of a fan than he is.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. I feel like Vava ends up signing a couple of things.
absolutely. You know what? You get Vava gets a gift later in the week from Triny's mother. It is a
Aw.
painting of Vava and Vivi, um, gifted to you.
Oh no, she loves it. Oh no.
You didn't have to pose. She is a very good painter.
Oh no, that's getting hung up. Excellent.
Um, God, what else? And do you have anything?
I don't think I do. Because I was like, you're gonna meet Vivi, you're gonna meet the child. And we got that. So that was the one I wanted.
That's the important one.
Yeah.
Um, Lord Almighty. There's a couple of other visitors. I'm guessing. Like some of
Hmm.
Chinese friends and detectives. Uh,
Marcel absolutely visits his mom.
uh, there's no need to mention Dota Studios. I think actually at one point, Triny does bring up the idea of watching a different kind of movie, and if you ever bring up any of the engineers' movies, he immediately shuts it down.
Oh, okay. I remember this, but that's like Vava kind of quirks like an amused eyebrow, just.
I just don't like his films.
I understand, darlings. Spaghetti westerns on for everybody.
I just think you're so. He could go on a like 30-minute tirade on how like he thinks the Indian movies are just badly filmed, which is so mean to Vava.
Oh no!
And then he says like, and compared to DJ Grooves, it's just like his film's entire filmography. You can tell they have emotion, they have feeling. So I'm glad you went to work
Vava
tomorrow.
is doing her best to hide, like, oh, she's going to tell Moves all of this, and he is going to get the biggest head. Like, his afro is going to get even bigger.
But yes, just that tiny little fun thing. Um,
Yes.
would you call for the film camera to be brought to the hospital, or would you prefer they
Um,
met outside of the hospital to do this?
likely she would likely have it like not in the hospital just because
Yeah.
like it is on loan. So
Mm-hmm. So, um, I feel like this would be like a couple of weeks after they've both got it.
Mhm.
Where would you say they meet? It could be Triny's apartment if you want it to be.
Yeah, honestly.
Uh, just just like a little bit of time skip. They gave each other contacts. Told each other like once you get the camera, if you want to bring it, here's my address. All of that jazz. You probably got out of the hospital first.
Yeah, honestly.
Um, and maybe you get tabs on Triny, but eventually he would have contacted you, or you would have contacted him.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and just you can get together on the roof of their apartment complex.
Hey, Baba likes being on roofs.
There you go. Just for the at the top of the roof of the apartment complex, he's brought out like as many of the films as he could just to look
Mhm.
through them.
Oh wow, okay. And she's got like the film she's got the camera set up. It's probably like a projector rigging up like a little sheet to
Yeah,
project it on.
he's got bed sheets,
Yeah.
which I'm sure you've heard the description of Chinese apartment before. I don't think I have to give
Yes.
it to you again.
No, no, no.
Um,
I recall.
uh, it is. It has been a little bit more. It looks more lived in now that there's also his parents in here and Victrola and all of that. Like
Mhm,
things
mhm.
have gone back up. It is. It has been cleaned up after the whole mess
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah.
Um, just in general, it's nicer, but you wouldn't know that either way.
Yeah. To Vava,
Trying
this is how it always was, but anyway.
Trying would ask Vava, should Becky be here for this? I don't know if some of those films would be good.
It should be all right, yes.
Okay, um, I'm just asking because the way that you mentioned things happening at Volpine Studios, I was like, hmm.
Yeah. Uh some of the things are not great, and it's basically Vava will be like, it should be fine, but if anything questionable comes up, we'll we can stop the tapes.
But yeah, you can take it away from here because I don't know what's on here on these.
So they start going through the memories, and there's a couple of there's a couple that are like your generic you know behind the scenes of like finishing a take. You see like the last of the scene, you see a scene, and then immediately like the director will yell cut, and immediately the acting is dropped, and there's like an exasperated Vava who will she's kind of got a haughty attitude. She saunters off set, uh off to go get some water or something. It's the milling about setting up things. There's uh a couple where it's Filmo like talking with executives, um or the director, and basically like moments where the director kind of has to grab grab his head and be like, here, right here, to get the exact framing that they want.
I love
Kind
that
of deal.
because I like to imagine that Filmo was extremely dexterous and would oftentimes just hang from things or literally like crouch down on all fours just to get specific shots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's like it's that kind of thing of like they need there's one where so it's from Filmo's perspective. So you see it's a very low angle on the ground and it's skittering up towards an actress who clearly was not prepared to see this because she looks over, sees something coming at her and just screams. And the entire set just bursts into laughter. Uh of like, you need to warn me when you do that kind of deal.
I do think it picks up Filmo's voice is saying like, sorry.
And there's one. This is my bittersweet thought that I had. And like Vava will be kind of like because Filmo worked there before even she got there. So a lot of these are before like pre-Vava. These are old movies. They're black and white. Some of them are probably like excuse me.
No, go ahead. Take your time.
No, my
Oh God, don't die.
I'm fine, my voice. Some of them like uh brain. Some of them have like the freaking piano that like, you know, play like a remnant of the silent movie era where they would have a pianist like in the viewing area to actually play music along with the film. Kind of as a carryover, they have a pianist on set to kind of play the music for it as they're filming, kind of deal.
Mhm.
And but there's a couple that are later after Vava arrives, and she gets kind of quiet for one because you see it's her, and she's very clearly unimpressed with this white and black fox that is trying to very hard to impress her. Um and Triny, I don't know how far in his memories Triny has gotten by this point,
Uh,
but oh,
if I was gonna say like if you wanted to know, he's been released under the pretenses of like you still have to have daily memory sessions for some of the later stuff in your life, but you know
okay.
enough now that you're picking up on things before you
Okay.
even get to them. So you're
Okay,
good.
cool. He might then recognize that fox as Vava's late husband. Um and it's basically the beginnings of him trying to court Vava, which was a 2-year escapade. Uh of him trying and trying before she finally like, you know, before she finally uh I wouldn't say fell for him because she fell for him from day one, but she played hard to get and was a little snotty before she finally got over herself, basically.
Yeah. Uh, I'm guessing Filmo saw a lot of that.
Yes, he would have seen a lot of that, and it's a lot of like, uh, he would, you know, he would essentially like try to like, he was, because it was one of those, how do you woo a Frankenalley? You dance at her until she dances back. Uh, and that was kind of his like approach because he would he would try to like at first it was show her flowers. Nope, the flowers get shoved in his face as she walks by. Okay, fine. Uh, you know, come out when music is playing. Try to get her to dance. No, she's gonna yank your hat down and like dance away from you because haha no. Things like that. Like clearly playing hard to get and too full of herself. But as they kind of go on, and it's not all of like that's not all of them, it's just you catch like little snippets of it. And if Vava ever sees Filmo filming, she just goes, don't no, don't film that.
Uh,
Don't give that man what he wants.
I like to add to this, if you allow me. Uh,
Mhm.
that's there are other times where Filmo is making recordings of bets as to how long it's going to take Vava to finally fall for him.
Oh my god, yes,
And so
absolutely.
you see some of Vava's co-workers as well, just putting bets on like how long it's going to take, basically.
Vava in the now looks offended, like lightheartedly offended. In the oh, it was that obvious, huh? Damn.
uh,
But yeah, just like there's a couple of them. It's not many. There's probably like 5 or 6 of like, over this course of time of him trying to woo Vava, and eventually, uh, this is also the one that I caught that I thought of that made me like, oh, because you see both of them like dancing, but it's very clearly Jimmy, that's his name, uh essentially sort of challenged her of like, he did a he the music was playing, he came out, he did a dance, and then he like made a motion of the floor is yours, do better. And of course, Vava had to do better. Um which evolved into then him very easily sliding into time with her, the two of them dancing together, and it ends with him dipping her. And it's a rather like it's a rather like poignant moment, because Vava, much like her daughter, does in fact have multiple tails. You just like there's a glamour that keeps most of them hidden most of the time. And that glamour drops at the end of it, and she's just kind of like he's got her dipped, they stare at each other, and then she just basically like out of frame pounces him to the floor, and there's just hearts everywhere, and there's cheering and cries of finally.
you see Felmo's hands clapping.
Yep. And Vava, once that particular memory ends, you do see her very much kind of cradle that one a bit close, just like, oh, that's the special one.
You can keep that one.
Thank you, darling. That means a lot. Oh, I might have to stop soon. My voice is cracking hard.
It's
Jimmy
all good.
was, yeah. Jimmy, I've come to terms with his passing, and I've had my grief. I'm learning to grieve, but it is still it's hard to move on from a man who impacted your life so much, you know?
I think Triny looks at the massive amounts of film reels, and now couple of the VHSs that are out there, and he says, "I think I do actually."
Mhm. And she nods and smiles like, uh, but let's don't let my uh nope, that's not how she'd word it. But before this becomes a bit of a pity party, how about we move on to another one?
Sure. And he'll put the next one
Yep. And for the sake of my voice, I think we're gonna have to call it there.
in.
Because we have been going for an hour and a half.
Yeah, no, it's been a fucking bit. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that was great.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is so good. Actually, I love this,
Same. Just
especially because most of this was not discussed, y'all. This was all
no,
fucking
this was
off the
all
top.
completely off the cuff. I think the
Yeah,
only
off the
thing we
top of the
knew was,
dome.
yeah, the only, only things uh really set were Filmo worked with Vava, and Triny's a fan.
That's
and
about
they
it.
meet in and they meet in the hospital.
Yeah. Oh man, that was very good. For the sake of your voice, we're going to stop now. Thank you everybody for
Yeah.
listening. I'm
Yes,
going to
thank
stop
you
recording.
everybody. Yep.
Bye bye.
Bye.